Hello. Because it's not like I have anything better to do, I've decided to start doing something new. This is the first in what I hope will be a new series of dramatic readings from free Kindle romance novels. Today's is Ashley Spector's Stolen Fruits, A Bride for the Viking by Ashley Spector. It's the story of Hilda and Brynjolf. Brynjolf's mouth on mine was hot, his kiss demanding but not cruel. I felt myself melting into him, leaning and arching into his touches as his hands roamed all over my body, his fingers running through my hair. Brynjolf mapped out my curving shape with his hands, caressing me all over as he kissed me deeply. He slowly raised my sleeping gown and pulled it over my head, tossing it aside. The warm air of his sleeping chamber brushed against my skin everywhere that Brynjolf's hands didn't touch. And eventually, there seemed to be nowhere that he was not touching me. His lips traveled down along my neck and his hands along my body, finding my hips and then reaching down in between my legs. He gave me a slow, delicate caress along the lips of my pussy before breaking away, taking a step back. "You are a lovely wife," he said, taking in every bit of my naked body. "I will have to reward Einar for bringing you to me." I giggled, giddy with the pleasures of his touches. "Better you should reward me," I told Brynjolf. "I made Einar bring me to you as a wife in exchange for leaving my village alone." Brynjolf raised an eyebrow at this. I tricked him and stole his sword and threatened to shame him by killing him in front of his men. Brynjolf laughed out loud, throwing his head back. He pulled me close and kissed my forehead, his hands massaging my hips and waist. "Do you still have his sword?" he asked me. I nodded, still giggling like a child. "Show me." I went to my chest, which had been carried into Brynjolf's quarters, and dug the sword out. Brynjolf laughed again, seeing it. "My fearsome Hilda," he called me, crossing the room and kissing me deeply. "You should have been born as one of us." He pressed my body all along his, letting me feel the hard ridge of his erection in his trousers. He picked me up and carried me to his bed, resting me gently among the furs and linens and pillows. He ran his hands all over my body, slowly kissing me along my neck and down to my breasts. I was quickly becoming aroused as his hands kneaded my thighs, his mouth finding one of my nipples and sucking and licking. I moaned out, arching into his lips, already beginning to writhe underneath him. Brynjolf pulled away from my breast and smiled at me. "I only take women in the height of their desire for me," he said, his voice low and sweet. "Do you desire me, my fearsome Hilda?" His fingers stroked my pussy, already wet with need for him. I nodded.